How do you like your tea? Piping hot, ice cold, with sugar, or how about with milk? Welcome to Spilling the Tea, where we're not just spilling tea, we're sipping it. And today's brew is a 10-year herbalist who turned their passion into a venture that everyone can join. Jaclyn Einfeldt, the owner of the Deserted Forest Tea Co. Thank you for hanging out with me today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too because when we first met, we met on PA Live. Your fiance came on. He was doing a crockpot segment with us, and we were just sitting chatting, like how I like to do with our guests when we're not on camera. And I found out you loved tea, and so I was like, "You gotta, you have to come on the show."
Fit.
Literally, it is the perfect fit. So before we dive into all these yummy teas that you brought here today, I want to learn more about you, about your childhood. Where did your love for tea start? Did it start when you were younger?
Yeah, I think I don't have like a whole lot of memories from my childhood, but I do remember that my grandma loved tea. Anytime that I would come over her house, she would always have the tea bag. She would always make a little pot of tea. We would play cards with the pot of tea. So that probably stimulated some of the love for tea. I know that I have this like little porcelain teacup that I keep it in my room. It's in a very special place, and that's from my childhood. So like I've had that my entire life, and it's moved everywhere with me. So I know there's just kind of always been this love, but then it definitely developed more into like my teenage years. Yeah. Which is when I worked for Tivana.
Yeah, I was going to say, so when you were 16, 17?
It was probably like, it was actually my first job in college. So probably like, so maybe 17, 18.
So talk to me about working at Tivana. How was that? If people don't remember what Tivana was, it was the store in the mall, and it was like a tea house.
Yes, it was just like the tea store to go to. They were in like every big mall. They were awesome. They really, they had all of the beautiful cast iron teapots, all of these like really fancy teas, that whole tea wall. So my job was the sampling. Yeah. So I would stand outside the store and I would give out the little samples to all the people that walked by, which really taught me some serious skills in life. Like try standing in a mall and having to talk to every single person that walks by. It is not easy. You would think giving out free tea would be easy. But that really is like what started to spark the love for me. I worked with some really brilliant people who just understood plants and understood how the herbs were healing. They knew so much about tea, so I really just was able to start learning from all these different people. And it really just took off from there.
So why did you want that to be your first job? My first job was at a grocery store. And like it's like I hear a lot of people say like it's either retail or you go on the food, but you went into tea. Where did that come from? Because you said you didn't have like that love of tea just yet.
Yeah, I think maybe it's just like always been brewing, right? But I don't know. I mean, technically it's retail. So I did kind of fall into that path of retail. I don't know. I just used to go to the mall and I would take their little samples every time I walked by, and I would go in. I had all of their teas. I must have just known they were hiring them. Let me just go out on a limb and see what I can do.
So what was it like working at Tivana? Because you talked about try imagining working at a tea shop and people just walking by, and you see those little stands in the mall, and like, if we being honest, people just walking straight past.
Nobody wants to talk to you.
I know I'm walking past people. They doing the hair stuff. They talk about the perfumes. I'm going to the store I want to come to, and I'm going out. Yep. So, what was it like trying to get people to come talk to you? And
it definitely taught me. It taught me sales skills. It taught me how to get out of my shell, how to push past my comfort zone, and how to like not let no like get me down, you know, because over and over and over again, all day long, like people are just like, no. Yeah. So like you just have to keep that smile and like ask the next person and keep going. So it definitely taught me like a little bit of tenacity at a young age, which was cool. And then, you would get the people who are like, I already have a drink, or I just ate. And I'm like, it's a tea sample this big. But no, it was great. I mean, like I said, it got to like spark that passion for me. So I learned about the different styles of brewing, like the different styles of teapots, the different countries and regions that different teas come from. It really gave me like that good foundational understanding of tea.
Yeah. And this was in college. So talk to me about your college experience. What'd you major in?
So this was when I was at Millersville University, so out in Lancaster, PA. I was a communication major at that time. Me too. Yeah. It was cool. I was really enjoying it. Unfortunately, this is the time of my life where I got really sick, though. So I had some serious health challenges, which affected every aspect of my life. So I did end up dropping out of school for a little while. That is when I transferred out to Arizona, too. So like everything sort of whirlwinded at one time in my life. I was so sick. I like couldn't even get to classes. So with Tivana, they actually offered to pay for schooling if you went through like a specific program. So I started looking into that, and I was like, well, if I can go to school online, maybe the health like won't be such an issue for me. So I started looking, and I was like, well, if I'm going to go to school online, I can go to school from anywhere. Yeah. So I researched every state in the country. I had lived in Pennsylvania most of my whole life, and I just wanted to change. I wanted something new. I needed to get out. So somehow I landed on Arizona.
But why Arizona though? Because it's hot over there. It's a completely different climate over there.
It is so hot over there. The program Tivana paid for was through Arizona State.
Got you.
So it was ASU online, but I was like, I might as well just go, I guess. I don't know. Something called me out there. It was sunny. It was different from here. And ASU is a big school.
Is it?
So it sounded like fun. I was like, well, let's go. Let's give it a whirl. So I found myself out there back in like 2015, I probably moved.
Did you enjoy it? Because you were there for 5 years before you came back.
Yeah, I had a great time. It was a wild ride. It was really an interesting experience. Like I said, I had some health challenges. So going out there, I saw how the sun made me feel better, which was really cool. And I made some new friends, and it was beautiful. I had a great time. But yeah, it was a wild ride.
It was a wild time. What did you learn about yourself outside from learning that you loved the sun that you learned out there?
Yeah. It is not easy to break me. It's something that I learned out there for sure. I went through some serious trials, but I had a great time. I had so much fun in it. I learned that sometimes things come with a cost, and that's okay. You just have to recognize that there's going to be a cost to pay. So don't go into risks blindly. It's okay to take risks.
Do preparation.
But take calculated risks.
Yeah,
I didn't take calculated risks at that age.
But you're young.
Right,
Who
exactly.
thinks about things like that?
Exactly. And like I said, I wasn't healthy at the time, which affected my mental health too. So it really was like just this whole sort of storm in my life going on. But that's what led me back to tea.
Yeah.
So I had moved out there with Tivana. So I had gotten a job in another Tivana out in Arizona.
Wait, so Tivana closed? When did they close?
Oh God, I don't know. A few years after I left.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did you do after Tivana?
I jumped around to some different jobs. I tried different things. I tried all the different things. I worked in tanning salons. I worked in waxing, lashes, hair. What else did I do? Retail, restaurants. I tried everything. I was just finding myself.
Yeah.
I was really trying to figure out who I was. Then a new tea store opened. They were trying to take over what Tivana was doing.
Gotcha.
So they came in. I started with them. So I started as a manager there, managed that store. That was really fun because then I had my whole I was the manager.
Yeah,
it was my
you was
tea
in
store
charge.
at that time. Yeah, it was so cool. I was making all my own tea blends at the time and sampling, and it was so much fun. And then unfortunately they went under. Yeah. But it's hard to run a tea production at that scale. It really is. It takes a lot. And it's a business that's really oriented around quality. Tea people like their quality for the most part. So it's something that's hard to do at such a massive scale. So unfortunately that company didn't work out. So then I left the tea business again for a little bit, tried whatever other things. And then I remember the day I went on a hike and I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. And I'm sitting at the top of this mountain in Arizona and I'm looking out over this beautiful view. And just this message comes to me and they were like, you are meant to be in tea. You need to just start your own tea company. Stop messing around and just you've been mixing tea for years now. Just do it. Just go and do it. So I did. And that was when I really made the decision to start.
Do you think because coffee became huge. I wasn't really a huge coffee girl. I'm still not a huge coffee girl. I actually prefer tea. But do you think coffee and the popularity of coffee, because I feel on YouTube when I was younger, I would just see so many people they would do day in the life vlogs, and the first thing they're talking about, they're waking up and they're drinking a cup of coffee. Yeah. Do you think that played a part in some of the downfall of the tea stores?
For sure. Americans are obsessed with coffee. Yeah. And it's no offense, but not even good coffee. It's just there's so much sugar and added things in the coffee that are milkshakes essentially. Yeah. So tea is such a foreign idea because it's tended to be drinking pretty on the pure side, not as much sweetener, not as much cream or milk. So yeah, Americans love their coffee. However, tea is the number one, not counting water, the number one most consumed beverage in the world.
Is it?
It is. Yeah, because other countries love tea. Americans just have to get on the wagon.
They're just stuck on their coffee, child.
Yeah.
So you had a 5-year stint in Arizona. We talked about that. You found your love of calling for opening your tea. What was that conversation like in your head when you're like, okay, I'm going to take the leap of faith and open my own tea spot?
Yeah, I at the time I thought it was like just this crazy dream. I was like, no way. Who are you? Like, how are you going to do this? I don't have any business background. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
But you did, though.
I mean, I didn't have any like entrepreneurial business background. I had like management, like retail management background. So that's been very helpful throughout this journey. But yeah, not knowing like how to actually run a business or like start an LLC, or these are the things nobody teaches you. Yeah. So those were big challenges that I faced, that I was like, I'm never going to know how to do this. It took me a couple of years still from that moment where I was like, this is what you need to be doing. I still messed around. I zigzagged and I took different paths until like 2020, when, the world was like.
Would you say your fear of seeing, like, working at two places that started to go down under a little bit, like, would you say that fear was what stopped you or put a hold in between you and the idea of having a tea spot?
Yeah, I think that probably played a factor in it. Like I said, I saw them fail. Like, I saw these massive companies who I thought knew what they were doing fail. In the same industry that I wanted to start. So I'm like, who the heck do I think I am, thinking that I can like do what Tijuana couldn't do? But it's just different. You do it on a different scale. You do it your own way. And over time, I've learned like I can't fail at it. There's no such thing as long as I keep going.
So what is something else that you've learned from owning your own small? I promise we're gonna get to the tea. But what is something else that you've learned from owning a small business?
Oh man, talk about not being able to be broken, right? It's hard. It's hard work. It really is. And you really have to learn that failure is not only is it like it's not that it's not an option, because you can fail, but the only true failure is actually just giving up. And it's stopping, and it's not continuing to pursue. There have been several setbacks that have made me stop for months to, like, I think a whole year I had to put production on pause at one point. Yeah, I went back to school. Like, all sorts of life events happen, and life always throws you off your tracks. But yeah, you just have to keep getting back on and like just keep going, keep pursuing.
When I used to own a business, I had a small clothing boutique. I opened it in COVID. I don't know why I did that. And I was also a senior in college. Like, I had so much stuff going on. And then I stopped it because I'm like, this is too much happening all at once.
It is a lot.
So for someone who might be having that same thing that's going on in their mind, what would you say to them?
I would say that have a real conversation with yourself. Sit down and really get clear on your intention. Is this really what you want to be doing? Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years with this vision? Because if it's a passion project, keep it a passion project. Find yourself a really beautiful career that makes you happy, and keep your passion a passion. Because once you turn it into business, it really is no joke. Obviously, tea is still such a passion for me, but so many more challenges start to come up with it. And that's not to say that like run away from the challenges by any means, but just prepare yourself that like it's not going to be a smooth ride, but it's so worth it if it is what you truly want. But you have to make sure it's what you truly want.
That's so crazy that you said that, because so many times on social media I hear people say like, turn your passion into money. Everyone is so like dollar signs. Like they don't care about anything else but making money. Why would you say, if it is a passion project, to keep it a passion project and keep it just like to yourself versus trying to turn it into a business, an LLC?
Yeah, because it can kill the passion if you're not careful. There have definitely been times where like I just didn't even want to look at tea. I was like, it was infuriating. But like I said, if you just kind of can if it's really what you want and you can continue to persevere, great, do it. Yeah. But if that's just not the kind of fight you want to fight, like you choose your hard, you choose your battles in life. And if fighting your passion doesn't sound fun for you, then maybe just keep it a passion and just let that love kind of flow and let it be a creative outlet, as opposed to needing, like you said, to make everything about the dollar sign.
Yeah. And when we talk about marketing, because marketing isn't always the easiest thing when it comes to starting a business. No. What are some challenges that you've had to overcome to kind of get your business in front of everyone?
Girl. Marketing's like the biggest challenge. Social media. It is such a beast. Like getting your stuff actually seen on social media is tough. It's tough work. Yeah.
And when we come back from break, we're going to dive into everything that Jaclyn brought us, and we're going to be tasting her special Valentine's edition tea. You guys stay with us. today's brew is a 10-year herbalist who turned her passion into a venture that everyone can enjoy. Jaclyn Einfeldt, the owner of the Deserted Forest Tea. Thank you again for hanging out with me today.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So before we took a break, we learned about Jaclyn, her life, her stint in Arizona working at Tivana. We learned so much about you, but now it's time for my favorite part, the tasting of all the teas. So for anyone who is unfamiliar with the Deserted Forest Tea Co., tell me about your business and your company.
Ooh, okay. So the Deserted Forest Tea Co., we started in 2020 or 2021 maybe. Essentially my mission is to help people connect with the magic of nature, the medicine of nature, through tea. So I think you can do that in a lot of ways. A lot of ways are available to us for natural healing, but my way is tea. So getting to share this with people is it's my passion. It makes me so happy.
Yeah.
And it's like my art.
Yeah, you told us before break that you were in Arizona and you were on a hike and you were like, it came to you, I got to start
this is it.
company.
This is it.
So take me through the process of actually that idea and then bringing it to life and like actually having your LLC and creating your teas.
Okay, yeah. So, oh man, it's been a whole
roller coaster.
Yeah, roller coaster is the right word. So I mean, it started with just like I just had a bunch of tea sitting around my house because of working in all of these tea shops. So I just started mixing the different teas I had at home, getting things that tasted really good. So for a while, it did just kind of stay as that passion project. I was just having fun with it, just learning about it. But I think that was the best way to actually start dipping my toes in because I didn't have that like entrepreneurial business background. So it's been a slow burn. It's been a slow burn and a slow ride, but definitely like a roller coaster of one. I started with like the craft markets and the art fairs. There was this really beautiful place near me called Engage Art Studio.
That's cute.
They were awesome. And they did these really cool, just like vendor pop-up events. So I started getting in there and I remember the first event I went to, it snowed outside and everybody was supposed to be set up outside. So like nobody was coming because it was all snowy and windy. So she finally she let me kind of move my table inside and I ended up having like the best day ever. Yes, I had so many customers come by. Everybody was buying my tea. At that time I was selling like thrifted clothing next to my booth too. I had art pieces that I was making. Like it was everything. I was like, I'll just sell it all and see what happens. And then I started making other herbal remedies too. So I was making tinctures, which are like an alcohol extract of herbs, or something that's called an oxymel, which is a vinegar and honey extract. So I just had all of these different little projects and herbal potions that I was trying out. And then with time, I really realized that like, especially when you're working with herbal medicine, it's important to know what you're doing, first of all, especially when you're going to get into the more potent things like tinctures. So I kind of started to pull back from all of the variety. Like I stopped selling the thrifted clothes and the art pieces became more passion. And I really honed in on the tea. And my advice for people looking to get into business is like focus on that one idea. Because if you're trying to do 1,000 things, it's too much and it just kind of becomes messy. Really hone in and focus. So that's what I did. So after like the first year, I was probably just sort of like traipsing around, selling different things, going to different art fairs, like just having fun with it. And then as I started to focus and really hone in, everything just sort of pieced itself together. Like over time, I learned how to make my own labels online. I found the packaging that I really loved. And I just, like I said, it was a slow build. Like I kept doing those little craft fairs. I had jobs that I was working for like my main income. Until eventually, like I was just able to do bigger and bigger events. I was doing like 2-day festivals, and then we started doing music festivals, and it really just kind of grew on its own, and it really took off. And it was so, I feel like I just kind of like watched it happen. I know it's not giving myself enough credit, but like I really do. Like it just bloomed and blossomed on its own, and it was so well received by the people, especially at like music festivals. That was so much fun. I'm so glad I broke into that world with it. And then there's all the businessy side of things of like setting up the LLC. Right. That was all Google and YouTube and friends and everyone teaching me what I just didn't know.
And when you talk about mixing teas, first thing that popped in my head was when I was younger, I was spending a night at my friend's house And it was my sister, my friend, and my friend's brother. And we were like making tea at like 12 o'clock at night. I'll never forget it. And we were like, let's mix our tea bags and let's try to make our own flavor.
Okay.
And his brother was like, no, let's not do that. Let's not do that. So when you say mixing teas, are you mixing tea bags? Were you mixing the open, like the open leaf tea? Yeah, the loose leaf teas. Like what were you mixing?
Always loose leaf. Okay. Always loose leaf tea. I'm a tea girl to the core.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't drink tea bags. Like, not to sound like a tea snob, though I am for sure. No, tea
What's
bags.
the beef with the tea bags?
You're not gonna work for Teavana and walk out and ever drink a tea bag again.
Really?
Yeah, they used to actually have this display in the store where one was like your let's say like your big box brand of tea bag. And they would open the tea bag and show you like what was on the inside versus like their beautiful like loose leaf, whole leaf tea. And it's just this like powdery black garbage, which is very often the sweepings from the tea factories. It's like all of the dusty stuff that's not getting through to the whole leaf.
The tea is being spilled.
Yeah, this is the real tea we're spilling.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah. And then a lot of those bags too, they're made with plastics. So you're getting microplastics in your cup. They're bleached. So you're getting all sorts of like unknown chemicals, the pesticides. It's just, again, like for me, the tea is a really a quality thing. So when you're drinking whole leaf or loose leaf tea, you're just getting premium quality versus what you get in a tea bag.
Oh, you literally just blew my. Now I'm gonna be a tea snob. I'm not. Don't hate me, but I drink both.
I do too. I really do. But yeah, there's certain brands I don't drink.
So you create your tea from small organic herbal teas. Yes.
So I take herbs, all these individual herbs, and I buy them in bulk from beautiful organic tea purveyors, and then I mix them. So I start with all just like individual herbs and tea. Do you know the difference between herb and tea leaf?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
School me.
So what people call tea, they can either be referring to the beverage, which everyone knows is like the drink,
right?
Or tea is actually a specific plant. So it's the Camellia sinensis tea plant, and that's where the white, the green, the oolong, the black, all of those teas come from that same plant. And they're just processed differently, and that's what gives you the different types of tea, or the different colors of tea, if you will. But then there's herbal teas, which are herbs and all different plants. Yeah. And then you can mix the herbs together and get what's called an herbal tea, or some people call it a tisane.
So are they boiling it? What's the process?
So you pluck the tea leaf off of the tree, and then like white tea is the least process. So it's essentially just left to dry, like air dry. And then that preserves all of its like really fresh, what are like the oils and things that are in the leaf. Yeah. A green tea is often like pan fried or rolled to get some more like smoky, sort of earthy flavors to it. Oolongs are mildly oxidized. Black teas are fully oxidized. And then there's a tea called pu'er, which is actually a fermented style of tea leaf. Yeah.
I feel like I can't call myself a tea enthusiast because I didn't know none of this.
There's a whole world. It's a whole world of tea out there.
Speaking of a whole world of tea, tell me about the different teas that we have here today.
Yeah, okay, cool. What do we have? So we have the Aphrodite, which is the Valentine's blend right now.
Let's pour this up. I'm ready.
Okay, cool. So
What's in this one specifically?
Yeah, this is a Earl Grey black tea. So Earl Grey is black tea scented with bergamot.
You poured that so perfectly.
And then I mix in, so there's cacao nibs in this one, so it's a little chocolatey. Rose petals.
Oh!
Yeah.
With all the Valentine feels.
There's a plant called Damiana in here, and then there's also some dried cherries.
Cheers. Let's try this special tea. Oh, this is very good. This is very good.
Yeah, you like it?
Now, do you drink tea with sugar? Milk, just tea by itself?
Nothing, just tea by itself.
I can drink this by myself. I'm not gonna lie. I do sugar, but I could drink this by itself.
It's the cherries.
So how do you know what pairs well together when you're creating your tea blends?
Years of experience.
Really?
Yeah. I really do think, not to toot my own horn, but I do think I have a little bit of a gift. When it comes to just the herbs, I do think they speak to me. Plants just they have a way of letting me know what's gonna work well. The ideas just come, and I just mix and play with the flavors until everything sort of blends in the way I wanted it, or the way that the tea wanted it itself to be, if that makes any sense.
So if I wanted to order a tea from you, you could create like a Tamanique flavored
Yes,
tea.
I do. I do custom tea blends.
Really?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do.
What's that
actually.
process like? Like I come into you and tell you like, I like mint and lavender. I don't even know if those go together, but I'm just naming stuff that I can think of.
Yeah. No, that's exactly the process. Just come to me. You tell me the flavors that you like. If you're looking for any wellness properties, also I do a lot of like wellness blending for people. So I can do anything from like sleep to gut health to mood balance to just flavors. So like you said, if you just want like a mint, lavender, something or other, you just let me know and I mix it up for you. And yeah, it's just like Tamanique's special blend.
Now this isn't tea right here. What is this? This little item right here?
Oh, so that's actually something new that I'm working on. So I'm branching back into some other herbal products. So this is an aged white tea and rose petal witch hazel toner. So it's meant to help just balance the skin and the hair. It adds a glow. So yeah, I like to use tea in other ways too. So as like a skin, like a topical.
Does it, you said it balances on our skin. What do you mean by like balance? Like helps like with dark marks, hyperpigmentation?
Yeah, so I have really sensitive skin, so I'm very careful about the different products I put on. So I just wanted something that wasn't gonna be like overly astringent or drying, but something that also wasn't gonna like clog my pores and be too thick for my skin. So that really just helps to like refresh, I guess is maybe a good word for it, you know? So I feel bright, I feel refreshed. And I just love it.
And one thing I want to talk about, because I absolutely love that you do this, you do tea ceremonies.
I do tea ceremonies, yeah.
Tell us about those.
Yeah, okay, so that's really special. That is sort of, that's the part of this that I have still kind of kept as the passion side. It's really special. Like I said in the beginning, the mission with the company was to help people connect to the power of tea. So what that means to me is like, when you drink your cup of tea, it can be so much more than just a cup of tea.
Yeah.
It's finding magic in the mundane moments, right?
It is.
Yeah, and it's before you drink your tea, you smell the aroma and you thank all of the plants that were part of it. You thank all of the hands that had a hand in from picking the tea to processing it to getting it all the way into your cup. There's heat was involved, water is involved, like all of these different things come together just to get this cup of tea to you.
Yeah.
So really you can find that in every little moment, or you can create a whole ceremony out of it and make it a bigger thing.
That is so beautiful. So how do we connect with you so we can get our hands on some of the tea that you guys have?
Yeah, so my website is up and running. It is just thedesertedforest.com. So you can find all of our teas available on the website. I'm also on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. It's all just at The Deserted Forest. And yeah, that's where I am. Or you'll find me at all festivals.
Literally everywhere.
Yeah, we'll be at the music festivals.
Jaclyn, thank you for coming and spilling the tea with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Spilling the Tea.